And that is I-thou relationship, because differentiation between subject and object, the differentiation between the observer and that which is observed breaks down. And that kind of communication, almost like not you're listening to music, you are grasped by the music, in a sense, you're overwhelmed by the music. You listen. Sometimes it's only a few moments, but that few moments are very precious. That's true with reading a book. Let's say reading a novel. You read a novel, first you just look at the novel, read it, try to figure out what is the story, and then who's writing it, what is the intention of the authors, and so forth. But sometimes it becomes part of your reading. Not only classics, but even just normal novel, you become part of it. And that you transform the relationship from I-it to I-thou. So you use this term of I-thou relationship, that's dialogical. There's always an interchange. And that interchange helps you to understand. So there's something I call hermeneutics. Have you heard about this word? Hermeneutics, which means interpretation or interpretive art. To try to interpret, because we read it, we interpret it. Now the first level of interpretation is to know, you sense what it is, what it is. And the second level is why. Why is this way? And then the question is, what does it mean to be? You know, I read like this, I know why he said it, but what does it mean? Why he wanted to say this? You even have this notion, what he ought to have said, according to your own interpretive strategy. And even, this is most difficult, I can imagine he should have said this, because the way he said it, from my point of view as a contemporary, can misread it. So he should have said it differently. For example, there's a statement that generated a lot of hostility, especially upon feminists. Confucius says, only women and uncultivated people are difficult to deal with. If you allow them to be very close, they become disrespectful. If you keep them away, distancing them, then they complain. Either way, you are not in a good position. Now, many people just became very angry, especially feminists, for a long time, believing that Confucius was a male-oriented, not only male-oriented, maybe male-chauvinist. Now the question we need to ask, whether that statement made is meant to be gender discrimination. He just wanted to hurt the feelings of women, so women and uncultivated person would put together, whether that's true or not. If it's not, Confucius probably didn't, it was not his intention, he didn't want to hurt. So if you ask the question whether it's a gender discourse or not a gender discourse, maybe it's a political discourse, this is my understanding. In any way, he made a mistake from our point of view, because he grouped, because there are obvious many cultivated women throughout Chinese history. The mother, for example, the mother becomes the most important, educated. In the 17th century, one Confucian scholar was instructed by his mother to learn from the two fatherless sons of our culture. One was Confucius. You know when his father died? 3. And the other one was Mencius. Mencius' mother was a paragon of great educator. So, there's no question it's part of the Confucian story. Of course, wives are absolutely important. The notion is wives are equal, equal to the husbands. So there's a certain kind of respect. And there's also age. For example, a woman who is older sometimes demands a great deal of respect. Not only the mother, but the grandmother and so forth. Another thing is status. If the woman belongs to a noble class, the woman may have the kind of, not mana, may have the kind of authority over the people. So this is a side, but useful. You know that the notion about yin and yang in Chinese history. Right? Yin refers to female, yang to male. Male is the principle of creativity. Female is the principle of receptivity. One is heaven, one is earth. And often heaven is considered more important than earth. So there's built into that methodology is a gender not only differentiation but discrimination. However, recently a group of feminist Confucians, sometimes difficult to imagine, right? In Korea. And one of them came up with it. Just I think it's very convenient, if not brilliant solution. Is that let's move beyond gender discourse. Yin and yang is not gender. They're two different forces. One is passive, receptive. The other one is creative, and maybe even positive and aggressive. And if you look at the world is structured in such a way that you have to recognize that as a reality of life. So the father is yang, the son is yin. When the father is 40 years old or 50 years old, when the son is younger, your father so turn out to be yang, you turn out to be yin. But the relationship changes, right? When the son becomes 40 or 50, the father becomes 60 and 70, like my age. I then become yin. My children who are there in their 20s and 30s become yang, right? Because they are more positive, more creative, and I become more receptive, more inactive. Now, if you extend that, and it's very interesting, the mother is yang, the son is yin. There's no question about that. We know the mother isn't educated. And now if you broaden it to say, in a multinational corporation, the boss is yang, the employees are yang, the ruler is yang, the ministers are yang. The ministers are yang, the lower officials are yang. So you have a different notion about, is this interpretation basically falsified the original conception? I don't think so. The original conception is not to come up with a sort of gender discrimination statement. It's about different power relationship, different forces in the world. Now, another thing very important is that in the Confucian tradition, there are no exclusive dichotomies, like the modern, the modern world based upon modern philosophical discourse ever since Descartes.